I am working on a little project for a little boy who is 3.5. He likes Paw Patrol. So I have started to cut out the fabric for this, and I'm going to show you what I have going on and then work on it some more. So this is my backing fabric for it. And this little piece will be incorporated in the front. I have already cut out a bunch of 5-inch squares. I have also cut out a bunch of red 5-inch squares. And I have yellow charm pack. So again, 5-inch squares. I also have this blue fabric that I'm going to be adding, making 5-inch squares. So I will have the 4 different colors, and we're going to make 4 patches and border it. I know I'm going to put this on the binding. Isn't that cute? I love a good stripe. And I did find this fabric in my stash, and it may or may not get used. I don't know, maybe this would be good in the block on the front, because I have 3 solids in primary colors, and then this. I don't have to play with that. I might leave this out altogether, but I still have red and some more of the stripe, and I do like the idea of using the stripe on the binding, and I already had some of that cut out. So let's play with it, see how it turns out. This is the way I make things. I typically wing it, and it turns into what it is as I'm making it. So let's see what happens. I am going to make a quilt with Paw Patrol theme. This is going to be my back, this big piece of really cute fabric, and it's like 2 yards, so it's more than I need, but it's just up here to look at it. This is some fabric I had in my stash that I'm thinking of using as an accent, or at least the binding if nothing else. It might be too busy to use it anywhere else. But I'm going to be making 4 patches, and I decided on this layout. So I'm going to make half of them this way and half of them this way. So originally I was thinking of putting in one block all 4 colors, but I just didn't like how that was looking. And Rebecca from my girlfriend's quilt shop was over here, and she helped me come up with this idea. So you'll see what I do with those, but right now I'm going to start sewing them in together in 2s. But remember, I have a orientation here, direction. So I'm just going to sew these 2 together and these 2 together, and then these aren't going to matter, but they're going to be blocks of 2 as well, and just make them in sets of 4, and then make a traditional 4 patch. I'm sure you know how to do that, but I'll show you real quickly. All right, I am making 4 patches with 5-inch squares. So I have this yellow fabric that was already pre-cut with pinked edges, and then I just made 5-inch squares out of the red, the blue, and my little print. Look how cute. Let's go sew them together. I've got my little piles together. I had 2 4 patches, which I had just shown you, and now I've put them up every other one, keeping the blocks in the exact same orientation. And you can see that no matter which way you look, no matter what color you look at, you have a diagonal line. So from the top left, you see red running down, and you see the yellow. Well, change directions, and there's the light blue and the dark blue, and they start at the top right. And so they're crisscrossing, and no matter how you look at it, they cross and it just makes this cool secondary pattern. And it's so easy. It's just 4 patches with 2 different layouts and then throwing them up on the wall like this. I'm going to sew this together. This is actually 4 rows by 5 rows. And it is 4 blocks per block. And so there's 20 blocks total. Okay, so you have 20 of each 5-inch square. We'll make this configuration. If you want to go bigger, just keep that formula in mind. So I'm going to sew those together and then put a little border on it. I like the idea of making the dark blue, the 1-inch strip, which is what that will be cut in half, as an inner border, like what you can see on the left, except half the size. And then the stripe on the outside of that, and then also use it on the binding and just call it good. Or I can only use it on the binding and I have more red. Use another red outer border. On the front, I'm going to make the 1-inch skinny blue inner border and then an outer border of red that might be 5 inches, maybe 3. 5 inches the size of the block, so I want to mix it up a little bit, but anyway, not too big, but bigger than the blue, and then call it good. And then what you see on the far left is the backing fabric, and then I'll use that striped fabric on the binding and nowhere else. I added a 1-inch border, 4 1-inch strips by width of fabric, and then the red border is a 3-inch border, and 4 of those by width of fabric. Now the sides are longer than the top and bottom, so there actually are seams in there. Now this is small enough that I can fit the backing on without any piecing. Let me show you. I am going to quilt this myself instead of sending it to the long armor because my Sweet 16 is fixed. I also could do this on my regular machine, but I am going to use my sit-down quilter. So the point is I don't need the extra on the back because it will not be loaded on the long arm machine. So what I'm going to do is layer that, make a quilt sandwich, use spray basting, like 505 is great, to hold it in place, as well as a few pins here and there, but that spray basting is awesome. I'm going to probably have to trim down a little bit at the front, on the red on the front, but I will make it even whatever I end up doing, and I knew that was going to happen. And maybe I'll make it right to the very edge and not have to trim anything down. We'll see how that goes. And then I will put this stripe up for the binding. I'll show you that. That kind of gives you an idea of what the finished look will look like. The binding will still be smaller by at least half of that, but it's just a little hint of color, and I love a stripe on a binding, so that gives you an idea of what the front and the back will look like. Now I'm going to go sandwich it together and take it to my Sweet 16. I might actually get this quilted for you. We'll see. I have a quilt sandwich going on. I have spray basted the top to the batting and the back to the batting of the sandwich. This is what I use to spray baste it. It's the 505. I love it. And now I'm going to put just a few pins in it just to keep it, because I'm going to be moving it around and I want to make sure it doesn't shift as I transport from here down to the machine. So next step is to quilt it. Let's see what happens there. I've pinned my quilt together, spray basted it and pinned, and I decided to do some testing practice stitches, and I'm not ready to start quilting anything that matters. So this is not getting quilted today. Maybe in this next week I will get it done. The little boy this is going to will be coming to visit us next week, so hopefully he'll get it while he's here. Anyway, I will keep you updated on that. It'll probably show up in this Saturday stitch-uation, but right now this is as far as I got, and I think it's adorable. I can't wait for him to get it. That's it for today. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment, and I'll see you soon.